On the problem, use original instructions. Think outside of the box. Phone system restore. Try with a new user profile. Disable all unnecessary startups. Try a different way to the end. Swap hardware. Brainstorm the problem. Brainstorm the problem. Brainstorm the problem.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. and 43 seconds. It just runs so fast. Time goes by faster and faster every day, every minute, every second. September 3rd, 2024 on a Tuesday. No show tomorrow. Gonna go up to the cabin today, probably pretty quickly after the show because I got kind of caught up on things. I had two clients that I did work for yesterday that I thought was going to happen today. I'm showing 0 dropped frames, and since you brought up that subject, I'll take a little diversion from what I was planning to go to. The question in chat, John Williams asks,
Ken Stout Live said, No, there will be a show tomorrow to make up yesterday.
No, managing moderator does not give you the power to do that. It might give...
John Williams said hello, Doug.
Hello, John Williams. It might give you enough power to award points to Alice. And congratulations, Alice, for the points. It's not very often that people get points for being the first to show up in chat. And to answer somebody's question about why so few points is because I don't want people to, jump on each other to be the first in chat. Okay, but back to John Williams, because I don't get distracted with squirrels. No. Have you been seeking out a better ISP in your area, less buffering? That is not going to, well, okay, listen, actually. There is no better ISP in my neighborhood. AT&T is not available. Verizon is not going to be any better. I'm not even sure if they have home internet available here. And Dish isn't going to be any better. So no, there's nothing better. And Comcast is completely fine, perfect until there's a lot of activity in the neighborhood. The biggest problem that I think is going on here is I'm in what I'll call a city island, Fresno City property in county area, all the way around we're county, and there's not many residences around. So the Comcast lines coming out to this neighborhood was sufficient and planned to be sufficient for normal average usage for a neighborhood this size, and then a little bit of buffer. But when we get a lot of activity here, like I think is what we had yesterday on that holiday, it becomes difficult. Otherwise, it's perfect. 0 drop frames. And let's go show a little bit more about that. If I come over here to, let's see, I'm going to bring up Task Manager. If I come over here and show you my network functioning right now, it shows that I'm sending at 11 megabits per second, and I have about 25 megabits upload per second capacity. And I can fully utilize that when I am doing a Magnus box backup. It'll fully consume that.
Zvimana said, how about Starlink?
Yeah, okay, fair that. I have not looked into Starlink, but it's a lot more expensive. Yeah, fair that. I have not looked into that for me. And listen, my shows, contrary to what some of you might think, my shows are not mission critical. Nobody's life depends on it. I'm not operating life support equipment. If you don't get a show from me on a morning, I think you'll be okay. It's not happening often enough to justify a higher expense. But this number will go right up to 24 megabits per second, 25 megabits per second while I'm doing a backup. I have tried doing a test stream during that time, and it is just horrible with buffering. And I could, as an experiment, turned down the bandwidth allowed for my backups and demonstrated during a live stream so that you could actually see 24 megabits per second. And if I tune it just right, I could still, I would need to tune it so that the backup takes about 15 megabits per second. And then that would be an interesting thing. So no, it's not happening enough to worry about that. And when the problem happens, it does seem to happen during the 9 o'clock hour, or even the 9 o'clock half hour, from 9 to 9:30. So, and I have this funny thing. I created this little window here to give me a bigger visual view of dropped frames, because normally dropped frames is way down here at the bottom. Well, I've got a zoomed in view of that piece of the screen up here so I can notice it. Yesterday was the first time I had that in operation, and that's the day when it hit me. So I realized there is dropped frames and buffering before any of you told me about it. How's the connection during prime time when everyone is home? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine as far as I can tell, except when it's probably not a lot of people doing stuff, because it's the upload that gets consumed. The download, there's plenty of margin. When I have buffering going on, I can do a speed test. I've got plenty of download available. But I think there's maybe 1 or 2 people in the neighborhood that upload a lot of content occasionally, and they seem to do it between 9 and 9:30. I think that's what's going on. But again, it doesn't happen enough to worry about. Okay, here comes a commercial. And I did not put in the instructions for you to tell me in chat what's going on, because I'm not really concerned about that. I've had enough information about that. So that was the start of that. Now what I'm coming up to next is ads and chat configuration. Stream Deck no show Wednesday. Yeah, so I already told you no show Wednesday. The Stream Deck I've already told you about, because I turned off the commands asking you to tell me what's going on with the commercials or the ads. And then ad and chat configuration, I do want to let you know I've done a different ad configuration. I am now doing choose how mid-rolls appear and insert mid-rolls manually to see how it goes, rather than doing this one and then manually putting ads
John Williams
in.
said we are spoiled with all the options we have here.
Yeah, okay. Not quite sure what you're referring to. I have live commentary turned on. Ken, if you have the phone available, go ahead and turn off live commentary. And that way, if anybody's wanting to chat and has not been made an approved user yet, they'll be able to. I think during school hours, we will likely do that pretty regularly. I don't have any redirects set up. So,
John Williams said ISP providers.
I don't know what you mean by that, John. I just discussed ISP providers. Are you saying that that's something I just discussed? I don't know. You got to give me more words. Use your words. Use your words. Okay, next up is Darin B summary and follow-up and size of the Windows 10 drive. Yeah. Darin B, are you in chat? If not, I'll be sending him an email to let him know about this conversation. Okay, I see some other things about asking, but they didn't do a speaker bot to me, so I haven't even read it. Darin B, on Saturday.
Chris Garrett said, DougBetts, you have to get mean and green with Comcast so they will fix it.
There's nothing for them to fix, Chris. There's nothing for them to fix. If the people in the neighborhood are using more upload speed than they are calculated for, it has to happen more often for it to be a problem, in my opinion. And it's not worth my time. The number of times that we have problems, it's not worth my time trying to get them to give greater capacity to the neighborhood. to have a show that I have to abort partway through, with as rare as it happens, not worth my time. Darin B. So Saturday we worked with Darin B, and what he has, that I'm going to give a little summary of it. His mother's computer had 2 physical hard drives in it. His one was Windows 10 and the other was Windows XP, 32-bit. Yeah, John, you have many ISP providers, so what? That doesn't help me none. And there was lightning in the area, damaged a bunch of equipment, including the motherboard on his mother's computer. He replaced the motherboard, was able to use the same CPU. This was a custom build computer. All the other components he was able to reuse. It was only the motherboard he had to replace. When he reconnected the original drives, the Windows 10 drive would not boot. The Windows XP drive could boot. He could take the Windows 10 drive and connect it to his laptop computer and access the files on the drive just fine. So it seems to be a problem with getting it to boot. We talked about many different possibilities of what's going on and how to go about fixing it. Now, the one that I like the most is to have a backup drive, use Macrium Reflect or another product if he prefers, do an image backup of the Windows 10 drive, and then on another drive do a full normal install of Windows 10 so that you have a full functioning Windows 10, and then restore just the C drive. The problem for him is that he doesn't have an extra hard drive on hand, and he is short on funds. Now then, he also doesn't know how much of the space on the C drive of the Windows 10 is occupied. So, but Darin, you do have an adapter to connect that to your laptop. So what you can do, it's very easy to find out. I'm going to show you File Explorer over here. Go to the C drive in File Explorer. I'm down here in the bottom left corner of the screen. Let's see, that'll give you a view, and then right click, choose Properties, and then use space. This will tell you right here how much space is in use. So that's how much space we have to find available on another drive. It is entirely possible that your laptop might have enough space available on it to do the backup to that. Another option is the Windows XP drive. Has 2 partitions. Both of these drives have 2 partitions. Yeah, bunny rabbits going down the field here. And among those partitions, you may have space. Absent that, Darin B, I am willing to ship you a hard drive, an internal hard drive, that you would be able to connect to do the backup to it. But I suspect you probably have enough space. Since you told us you don't know how much space is occupied on your mother's C drive of the Windows 10, I think you need to check that first, because I think you probably have plenty space. I can also help you remotely. I can connect remotely to your computers and actually do the image backup and restore operations for you. We can help you a lot through this. So I have not heard back from Darin since the Saturday show. Well, I did get one email, but it was not of any consequence. So I think that's all I've got there. So now I'm going to hit another ad break. If I take control of these, and that takes the control away from YouTube. Yes, power to the people. Size of Windows drive, summary B, Darin B, summary and follow-up. Yeah, covered all of that. So there's an ad break. Kamrui config update is next. Now, I'm also not going to anticipate when people come back from the ad break, because the ads that you get during a live show, I suspect they're all going to be skippable. So if somebody gets an ad during a live show that is not skippable, I do want you to let me know about that. But since they're skippable and you're probably going to come back, I'm not going to worry about announcing when we're back. The Kamrui config update, that was that computer the mini computer that I had over here. We worked with it on Saturday towards the end of the show. And I signed it into my client's Microsoft account, installed the Microsoft Office products.
Ron Israel said, got 2 ads. First not skippable, second was skippable.
Interesting. Thank you, Ran. And so it is not the case that ads during live streams are always skippable. So when you come back, you could rewind in DVR mode if you want to, and then use control period, shift period. What is it to speed up? I'm getting distracted here. Let's see if I go back here, and then it is control shift period speeds up the video, and then shift comma slows it down. You can see that number showing up there. And you can click live to get all the way to the live point. Okay, so the Kamrui. Installed my client's Microsoft Office products, his OneDrive, so that brought all of his documents back. There were some desktop icons that didn't show their picture. It was like the file was missing, and when I looked at that, I discovered that he had another software product that was installed on the computer previously that those icons were dependent upon. So that'll help get that set up. I took that computer out to him yesterday and installed it, set up his 4 printers. Windows 11, found all the printer drivers. They were all HP printers, and they just installed easily, perfectly, beautifully. There was one of them that he wanted to use as a scanner, so he went to the HP site and downloaded the full install version of that software. That gave us scanning capability. It worked perfectly, no struggle there. And let's see what else. Oh, I have a video that I did of his computer before I sent it out, because there was that issue about device encryption. And I'll talk a little bit more about device encryption. Well, kind of need to talk about that first, don't I? Yeah, I do. Because if I talk about device encryption in regards to that computer, BitLocker versus device encryption, I have to talk about that first. Okay, so there's going to be another ad break. We're going to have to split up that Kamrui update a little bit between, I should have swapped these around backwards to talk about BitLocker versus device encryption, because I had people in comments. Let's see. Martin Hogg said, Doug, just caught this chat about encryption. Were you thinking of BitLocker? No, that's a Windows Home computer. Windows Home does not have the actual BitLocker branded version of BitLocker. Windows Home products use device encryption. It is BitLocker under the covers, but it has less versatility, less capabilities. And let's see, I think that's the only one of these comments that asks about that. So then come over here on this Microsoft support. This paragraph here actually goes further to support that. I know many of you already know about this. I'm answering Martin Hogg's comment. Unlike BitLocker Drive Encryption, which is available on Windows Pro, Enterprise, and Education editions, device encryption, unlike BitLocker, device encryption is available on a wider range of devices, including those running Windows Home. Now, it was not accessible on that computer. When I tried to go find device encryption, it just did not show up anywhere. So I found out a little bit more about it. I went back into system information. Here you're going to see me open system information without doing as an administrator. Now at the beginning here, let's come back. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. Yeah, here. Secure boot state is on. We had to turn that on during Saturday's show because it was not on by default from that Kamrui manufacturer. Now, as we go forward here, scroll down to see this piece, device encryption support elevation required to view. Well, I have to open system information as administrator in order to see this. This does not show up as a normal user. So then I'll scrub further in here because I come back and type in system information and then click on the run as administrator and answer yes. And then of course we see the same thing about, oh, this one took longer to come up. That was curious to me. Why it took so much longer for this to populate. Now, there's it populated. Let's get, I gotta come back here a bit. I want to show the top part of this. Yeah, here's the top part showing secure boot stayed on. And then press play, and we're going to scroll down and see what it says about device encryption. Here, device encryption support. Now this text runs off the edge of the screen. We can't see it all. Reasons for failed automatic device encryption, hardware security test, interface failed, and device is not something. When I maximize this window, I still do not get to see the rest of that. So here's a little trick, a little technique when that kind of thing happens. I'm going to press the play button. You'll see what I do is I'm going to drag that entire window over to the left as far as I reasonably can, and then go float the mouse over that to see that text pop up again. Now we can read the whole thing. Reasons for failed automatic device encryption, hardware security test, interface failed, and device is not modern standby, unallowed DMA capable bus device detected. So there's some device detected that is a unallowed DMA capable bus device. I don't know what that means. I have not researched it. I don't care because I don't need device encryption on this computer. I suspect that it might have to do with these end processors. Maybe none of the end processors are capable of doing device encryption, or maybe some of them aren't. I don't know what the reason is. I don't care any further, but that is the rest of the reason, that situation that I know so far. Daco asking, do you use device security with core isolation security processor? I have not actually used encryption on any of my client computers yet. I'm intending to, particularly laptops and the office computers that need higher level of cybersecurity implementations. But so far I have not done it. I do have a computer on order that I think I'm going to do some experimenting with it. And then Ran Israel says you can copy and paste the entire line to the clipboard. I was not able to do that. I tried a few ways to copy and paste that, and about the only thing I could do is a screen capture. I'm going to try bringing that up on Big Beast. Let's see. System information. And I'll scroll down. Oh, elevation required. So I'm going to go ahead and do that the full way. System information. And here's run as administrator. Interesting, I had to click on that drop down to get to it. And it does not go out that far. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it does go out that far. All right, I'll drag that over. Oh, I have the same thing on Big Beast. Reasons for failed automatic device encryption. PCR binding is not supported. Hardware security test interface failed. Device is not modern standby. Unallowed DMA capable bus device detected. And Big Beast is Windows 11 Pro. That's interesting. I don't even know. How about my, well, I have secure boot state off. So I'd have to do some adjustments to see that. But anyway, right click here. I do not get a context menu. And then if I do Control C and go to Notepad and then Control V, yep, I did get it. I did get it. All right, I might not have tested that. That method. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, so if I do right click, I don't get a context sensitive menu. Control C works.
DPM.
Now Windows key V to show paste buffer, clipboard buffer. Yeah, it does work there. All right, so that does work. Let's see what that last speaker bot was, because I didn't hear it. I heard a speaker bot. Where did it go? Did Rand retract it? I think Rand must have retracted it. Yeah, perhaps I have modern standby disabled, whatever that is. Okay, here comes a commercial. Did I cover everything that I wanted to in that? Part of my experiment for the ad breaks is to see if I do them often enough, will YouTube not insert additional ones? Because when I looked at Saturday's show, YouTube did insert additional ad breaks. I see Rand says, yes, I did. Whatever that speaker bot was, he did retract it. And I did not make out what it was. And BookMark. Yeah, so I did all of that. Let's see, we're at 9:25. I just did an ad break. So channel comments, the rest of the channel comments. Quite a few of them in here. Let's see, Chris Garrett from 4 days ago. When I am booted to USB flash with the Cronus, I sometimes put the flash drive I have a bunch of personal info, and I back it up also. I have a program called Mini Tool Partition Wizard. It is great at recovering, and it is a paid version that I paid a pretty penny for it. That's what back when we were talking about Ken Stout's JPEG recovery work. So thank you, Chris. Piccolo's management, I'm going to hold off on that one because I have to do a little research before I can answer his question. Not sure that I'm going to wind up doing it. Celeste Guru, except for the usual ad, there's a few things in here about ads. Thank you for putting those in. I have read them. This was also about ads. I'm not going to read through them because those are not significant to read out loud, but you did provide the information to me, so thank you for that. I already responded to Martin Hogg's question. And Greg never saw the notification about yesterday's show. Seems he didn't miss much. Well, you did if you didn't go on to watch Ken Stout's show. And I have a link in yesterday's video giving the link to Ken Stout's show. And then Darin Gilholm says good
Read
now.
chat,
I think
please.
he was saying. All right, so then chat is over here. Zvi Minor, next time try NAP S2 as app scanning instead of using HP full driver with the scanner. He wants me to use a different app for scanning. Why should I do that if I don't have a problem? I don't have a problem with scanning. Why should I use a different scanning software if the software from the manufacturer works fine? I don't have any, there's no pain point to solve. So I don't feel inclined to do that unless you give me a good reason. This Ken Stout would be Ken's, no, not his phone. Is that his phone or is his wife's account? But we do know that that's him. But he's a managing moderator on his phone. I don't know if he wants me to make him a moderator with that account. He might want to stay not moderator or not approved, so that way you can tell if his changing the chat worked.
Ken Stout Live said, not the phone, not the wife, it is my Zoom account.
Zoom account. Okay, do you want that one to be a moderator or do you want to leave it non-moderator?
Ken Stout Live said, no, leave that K as is, please.
Will do. That's good. Yeah, I'm not concerned about you informing me that you don't get ads when you have an ad blocker. We know that that works pretty well. But thank you, Selden. Now, let's go hit another ad break.
System hers, it said. If there are several scanners from different companies and different printers.
Yeah, but if we're not using any of those, that makes sense if you're using scanners from different companies. but my client isn't. He has all HP, so that would be a pain if you had different scanning devices and had to switch between different software. But thank you for the thought, and that might be useful to somebody else. So thank you for putting that in. Drop frame 0. I use this to verify that I did indeed change. Yes, perfect. Selden, I do not use an ad blocker. Wait a minute, I thought you said you used an ad blocker.
Martin Hogg said, sorry I'm late. I have a quick question
Oh.
of time.
Yeah, go ahead and ask the question. I'm sorry, I misread that, Selden. You said no ad blocker in use, no ads in. Yeah, okay. The other thing that we've learned, and we don't need to go any further with it, is that YouTube tells us not everybody will get an ad, even when they don't have an ad blocker and they don't have the Prime version. Not everyone's going to get an ad. Some people will, some people won't. So, if you want to put in the comment, that's fine, but I'm not needing any more research on that. It's question's been asked and answered. Hurry up, Martin. Let's see, what else do I got in chat? Let's look for oranges. Speaker bots are already looked at. We will rock you willingly. That was in regards to the trailer. I already responded to that one. John Downey, I just got an email saying my iPhone has the Pegasus spyware and wants us to send $2,000 to a Bitcoin account. I know this is a scam. I would just like your insight. Well, okay, here is my incredible insight that you might not have realized. That's a scam. Well, let me say some more about that, give you more detail. That's a scam. There's nothing else. There's nothing else on that, John, that I got. I got an email saying my iPhone has the Pegasus spyware. Wants us to send $2,000 to a Bitcoin account. I know it's a scam. I don't know what else insight to give you, except that okay, here's one extra thing. Tell people about it. Your friends and relatives, tell people about it. Take the occasion.
Chris Garrett said, when I go to Reddit, I get internal server error.
I have seen that recently, Chris. Do you have a link to put into chat for that? And why are you asking a question in after hours? Come on, you should have asked that earlier. Yeah, so anyway, tell people. Tell friends and relatives. Use that occasion to tell them about it so that they are informed about it. Okay, so here he's got a link for us. Chris does. Reddit.com. Oh, it's not a specific link. You're getting server error when you just go to that.
Darin Gilholm said, hi, everyone.
How about, do you have an ad blocker? Turn off your ad blocker, try a
Chris
different
Garrett
browser.
said it's not after hours until the show ends.
Yeah, it is. If I'm still here after my ending time, that's after hours. I define what after hours is, not you. Yeah, try another browser, turn off all your extensions to see if that solves it. I was expecting you to have a longer URL that had some sub level. Okay, trying to get the oranges.
Chris Garrett said it works with Chrome.
Okay, so what was it? What were you using when it did not work? See where I saw that. Virtualization feature is installed. Oh, is it because I have virtualization
Martin Hogg
turned
said,
on?
see my question.
I'll get to that in a moment.
Chris Garrett said Microsoft Edge.
Martin, I already responded to a question from you, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't see that one. Oh, I think it was a comment, channel comment that I responded to for you. Customer, no internet, found a router, had switched off both 2.4 and 5 channels. Any thoughts?
Chris Garrett said Microsoft Edge.
All right. Microsoft Edge. Yeah, turn off extensions in Edge, reset it. to reset everything, clear out cookies and cache and all that. Do you care, Chris? Customer no internet. Now, what does he mean by that? The customer doesn't have internet service. They don't pay for it. I think what he means is that on his computer, he can't get out to the internet. I found out the router had switched off both 2.4 and 5 channels. Any thoughts? Turn them back on. I'm assuming the computer that couldn't connect to the internet was using Wi-Fi. You should have been able to see that it didn't have a Wi-Fi connection. Forget about internet. Before you can connect to the internet, you have to have Wi-Fi connection to your router. Are you actually asking how could that have gotten turned off? Somebody turned it off. Will be one method. A firmware update that the router did automatically that failed. Maybe a power outage and the router crashed and it came back on and then they didn't reboot. It might have booted up in some kind of a safe mode. Did you actually go into the router configuration through Ethernet and turn the Wi-Fi on and get it to work? Was that successful?
Read chat, please.
From Greg M. I assume the router is not using a default password. Okay. That wouldn't matter as far as how the Wi-Fi got turned off. Customer got hacked and Wi-Fi turned off. That's kind of
said
an odd
connected to
thing.
router by cable and switched both channels back on.
Okay, so we did successfully do that, and that worked. So there may be a Wi-Fi button on the router that will enable disable Wi-Fi. That's possible. I've never seen that, but I haven't seen a huge variety of routers. It's possible if they're using the default password. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, if they had, in order to do that, the hacker would, it would have to have wide area network management turned on, which is possible. And then they would have to contact it through the public IP address, which is possible. And then they could log into it, which is possible, and turn off the Wi-Fi. So a hacker's going to go through all that effort and their objective is to turn off the Wi-Fi? Why would they do that? Power glitch? I'm more likely to think it glitched somehow. Did Alex Cheek do it? Web WPA was a security and they got in. Well, okay, that's a possibility. Somebody could have got in to it through the Wi-Fi. If you give out your Wi-Fi credentials to people, if it's wired equivalent protocol or privacy, something like that, WEP is very weak. Rick's going to have a video out today. If you have a link for it, you can put it in. Okay. They do it because they can. There's a lot of other things they could do that'd be more useful. It seems kind of... I guess just to see if they can. Bragging rights, I guess. Oh yeah, are there kids around? Grandkids? That's good. That's good. That is the most believable.
Martin Hogg said, thanks.
That's the most believable. If some kids were being mischievous. You didn't draw my attention to your shameless plug. You did the plug, so Get over it. Get over it, Ken. All right. Adios. Hasta la vista. Goodbye, baby. There we go. You can watch this video, see how to get free support through this YouTube channel. This video, see how to get paid support directly from me in private sessions. This video to do something else. Oh, turbocharge your troubleshooting experience. And this is a recent video on my channel. Have a great day, everybody. I'll catch you later. No show tomorrow. Goodbye.